What I'm about to break down is the most ambitious Call of Duty campaign we have seen since Modern Warfare 2019. And I didn't believe it at first, but when you put together everything Call of Duty revealed today, everything that's been talked about by everyone who went to the event last week, 13 missions, 3 acts, a split narrative, and a dark price arc, Modern Warfare 4 is shaping up to redefine what a Call of Duty Modern Warfare story looks like. So if you've watched any of my videos before, you will know I'm a Call of Duty nerd, and today's reveal gave us more concrete story details than most of Modern Warfare 3's marketing. So before we dive into the story, the headline you need to know. Modern Warfare 4's campaign early access has been confirmed. You will be able to play the Modern Warfare 4 story early, about a week in advance, probably around October 16th. And this is really a confidence move by Call of Duty because we haven't had campaign early access since Modern Warfare 3, and the Modern Warfare 3 campaign was not looked at fondly by most reviews. So if Call of Duty is willingly putting out their campaign a week early, it means they have a lot of confidence in the story. So let's dive into that story. First thing you need to understand about Modern Warfare 4 is that it is not a single perspective story. Call of Duty confirmed today that the campaign is running on 2 parallel tracks that eventually collide, not 2 tracks that split off and come back together like we saw in Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3. We've seen split protagonist campaigns from the franchise before, but the way this one is structured feels a little bit different. So, track 1 is the ground level war. You play as Private Park, a young South Korean conscript. His squad, Jae, Cho, and Moon, all Korean conscripts, are working alongside him. And in addition to that, because South Korea has a mutual defense pact with the United States, they actually have 2 US Marines in their squad with them, West and Corporal Dunn. Now here's what matters about this group. These are not legacy operators, they're not people we've seen in the new rebooted franchise before. They are young soldiers experiencing combat for the first time, and Call of Duty is using them as the audience's emotional entry point. They are conscript soldiers in Korea. They're not willingly signing up for the military. So the people you actually care about when bullets start flying are the people in your squad who you went through basic with. Now, on track 2, the Shadow War. Captain Price has gone rogue, operating off book. Picking up directly where Modern Warfare 3 left off, he has been hunting down Makarov. And the devs described him today as, quote, a different version of Price than we've seen before, based on the choices he's made. This is a Price defined by consequence. A Price who has crossed lines he can't come back from. Both halves of the story will carry equal weight. You're not playing as a single hero, you are watching a global conflict from 2 completely different viewpoints. So let's start off with Act 1. Call of Duty has structured the campaign into 3 acts, as Act 1 is the invasion, and the tone they're setting from minute 1 is what the devs call a return to form. Contemporary setting, real-world stakes, the kind of combined arms warfare that built the franchise in the first place. So, Mission 1 is the Cold Open. That's the actual name. The North Korean invasion of the South Korea kicks off when Jae and his squad, after hanging out for the first time, see that the power to the city has been cut and see a missile strike. I believe they're in Seoul and trying to hold off a defense of the main capital, South Korea. Now, we don't know what happens after this, but we got the second mission, which is New York City, has been confirmed. And this mission is going to be controversial to a lot of people. It's going to focus on Captain Price in close quarters combat in New York City. Specifically, he is hunting down Makarov. And the developers revealed at the big event they invited all the creators out to last week that the person that we see Captain Price wailing on in the trailer is Makarov, and he is quite literally beating him to death. Makarov is dead. He doesn't continue the story anymore. They kill him off in the second mission of the campaign, and everything after that is kind of an escalation from that point. So again, Makarov is dead. He is not part of the Modern Warfare 4 campaign, which absolutely shocked me, and the fact that Call of Duty came out and confirmed it so directly. Now on to Mission 3, because this one is a little bit more interesting. It's called Escalation, and it's one of the few missions that we don't really have any information about. But my guess, based on what information is available and what I've heard from other creators, and the developer's interview, is that Captain Price finds out about some weapon that North Korea is preparing to use against South Korea, and a weapon that will surely end the war in favor of North Korea. The intel Price uncovers is the reason the Shadow War becomes globally urgent. The moment Price's off-the-book operation becomes directly tied to Park's ground war. Now, something I also want to say at this point, Captain Price is completely rogue. He is not working with Task Force 141. He has been disavowed by both the British military and Task Force 141, and from what we can tell, even Kate Laswell doesn't know what he's up to, so he's acting completely alone. So Act 1 is doing one job, establishing the stakes on both sides, because by the time it ends, you know exactly who you care about, what they're fighting for, and what North Korea is willing to use to win, and what Captain Price is willing to do to win. Now, Act 2, the campaign really starts to kind of open up as we get more missions on multiple continents, 5 missions exactly, and the return of the character who explains how all of this seemingly is connected and possible in the first place. So, Mission 4, based on my educated guess, is most certainly where Valeria Garza re-enters the story, built around her smuggling arms network, and here's why she matters. Valeria is not a camo, she's shown multiple times in the trailer. Her smuggling operations is the through line that explains how a regional conflict in Korea escalated into a global one, the reason that North Korea was able to invade South Korea. And the weapon Price uncovered in Escalation is tied to something with Valeria. It all traces back to her. Now, we don't know what this mission is exactly about, but we do know that Mission 5, what comes after, is called Retreat. Now, Retreat is most certainly focused on South Korean forces falling back under the invasion pressure, and almost certainly a Park Squad mission, as a good kind of gut punch emotional reaction mission would be great here, as South Korean forces are losing territory the moment the war begins to feel unwinnable, and the moment you understand exactly what these soldiers are up against and why they are fighting for their cause. It's now not about them being conscripts, it's personal, it's about defending their homes. Now, Mission 6 is one that we have a ton of information on, just from the trailer alone. It is a Price-side Shadow mission, and Price is being hunted down by Shadow Company while working alongside Valeria. The vehicle chase is through a 1-to-1 rendered Paris. That has been confirmed by developers directly. And it seems like this is the moment in the campaign that Price fully commits to being Dark Price. And no, Mom, it's not a phase, this is just who I am. Now, there's an interesting bridge here for this next mission, because we really don't know what happens to Price after the Paris mission, but we're told that Mission 7 is set in Mumbai, and specifically, it is an SAS night raid. From what I can understand, it's going to be presumably built in the style of Clean House, methodical, room by room, high tension, and likely focused on Gaz and Ghost returning to the SAS after Task Force 141 was dissolved. So this mission will see Gaz return and Ghost, and it seems like Ghost is going to be kind of the leader of the SAS now that Captain Price is gone. Now, there's some kind of intel in this mission that leads us into Mission 8, Assassination. It's a direct follow-up to Mumbai, and the intel from that night raid, I believe, would feed to a targeted kill mission here, hunting down someone specific that would help shake up the board and change the trajectory of the North Korean and South Korean war heading into Act 3. Now, Act 2 is kind of the engine of the story. Valeria becomes central, Price's Shadow War has gone off the rails, and the ground war is hitting its lowest point in Korea. The tables are about to get set for the turn, and Act 3 is where everything pivots. 5 missions, and this is where the campaign earns its ending. Now, from what we know, Act 3 is where Captain Price's path and the South Koreans kind of converge. So Mission 9 is Defection. This is centered on a North Korean defector, and from what we can see in the trailer, this is a North Korean defector who's basically sneaking around a village, trying to escape as North Koreans are hunting him down. Now, he has intel about whatever this weapon that North Korea has or wants to use is, and he's trying to get it to South Koreans as he doesn't want it to be used by North Korea. It's going to be something that is going to be used to devastating effect that we haven't quite seen yet. And presumably, he does escape and gets to South Korea, and that sets up our next mission, the counterattack. Here, we're going to see the South Korean and coalition forces push back against North Korea, and the turning point mission for Park Squad, as it's kind of a, I don't want to say narrative gear shift from a defense to offense. And the moment that Park stops being a conscript, starts being a soldier, and starts to find his place as a soldier leading his squad. And from what we know about Park, specifically from the developers' words themselves, is it's a very much zero to hero story. So the campaign really focuses on him in South Korea. But anyways, the next mission is Escape. We have almost no information on this, and from what I can guess, someone is getting out alive, and it matters. This could be Price, this could be Defector, could be an asset, a teammate, high stakes extraction to set up the final assault. And that brings us into Mission 12 and Mission 13. Mission 12 is called Meltdown. It's an assault on a North Korean city, possibly with Price taking the lead, working alongside South Korean Special Forces and the South Korean military. And it's a chaos mission, combined arms, escalation maxed out, and both narrative tracks have finally converged to the same objective, leading into Mission 13, Palace, the finale. taking down the new supreme leader of North Korea who has come in and replaced the old one. And after this, we'll get the final card, final credits, the resolution of both Park's arc and Price's Shadow War. And the question that I feel Act 3 really kind of builds to is, what happens to Price after this? Because it's a kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. If Captain Price was able to stop North Korea, and even if he put all this effort in, he still would have killed an American general out of cold blood and still would be disavowed. So he'd still go face prison time. And if he dies, he would never get his name kind of cleared and the slate cleared about all the bad things he had done. So regardless here, it seems like Captain Price is a lose-lose situation, and I'm curious what happens to him at the end of this campaign as he's kind of become on this path of becoming more and more dark, more and more pushing the limit. I'm just not sure what's going to happen to Price here at the end. And I have to talk about this because it is directly connected with everything we just covered about kind of Captain Price in this whole story. At the end of the trailer for Modern Warfare 4, there is a scene with Ghost and Price together. And something about that scene just feels off to me. There's the framing, the timing, the way it sits inside the rest of the campaign. Ghost doesn't quite look right, like he doesn't look like he was built into the scene, the lighting's off. I don't think this moment is real. And when you look at the version of Price the devs are building the story around, the rogue, the morally compromised, the one being hunted by Shadow Company in Paris, the one thing we know about him, he is fiercely loyal to his friends. So he would not be fighting Ghost unless he was either forced to, and even at that point, he probably wouldn't kill Ghost. So that Ghost moment really does not fit with the rest of the picture. Now, a full breakdown coming up on why in the following video, talking about Captain Price versus Ghost and what's really going on. Make sure you're subscribed, but anyways. With all 13 confirmed missions and the 3 full acts laid out, Call of Duty intentionally left some major gaps, and let's talk about them. Gap 1 is, who's the real antagonist? Because Makarov dies in Mission 2, Kony Group is gone after the early missions, and the new supreme leader of North Korea is teed up as the final boss in the palace. But is he actually the villain? Is he the person orchestrating everything? Or is there someone else behind the scenes that we need to worry about? The figure connecting Valeria's smuggling network to the invasion to the weapon has not been revealed, and Call of Duty's been sitting on that for a reason. It's going to be their big reveal for the Modern Warfare 4 story. Now, Gap 2, what if the weapon actually is? Because Mission 3 sets it up. The entire Shadow War pivots around it. But we have not been told what it is, what it does, or how it ties back to the characters we already know. We just know that Captain Price is hunting down this weapon. And Gap 3, how the two narratives actually collide. Because we know that Park's track and Price's track will converge in Act 3. We do not know when, we do not know how, or at what cost, or even at the point if Captain Price will be working alongside South Koreans, or this will be a kind of, oh, we have to work together out of necessity thing. And to me, Modern Warfare 4 is positioning itself as the most complete, gritty campaign we've gotten since 2019. Not anything against Modern Warfare 2, but it didn't really feel gritty in Modern Warfare 2. Anyways, if you want deeper breakdowns, you want to know about the real antagonist, the weapon itself, Price's endgame, or my full case on that Ghost and Price trailer scene I don't think is real, make sure you're subscribed. Tomorrow I'm going to be covering everything we know about Modern Warfare 4, and I'm covering everything about Modern Warfare 4 leading into October 23rd's release, so drop a comment with the mission you are most hyped for. Until next time, I am IceBurgz. Stay frosty.